Hey, so I am here in Canberra, Australia. I am here courtesy of the Korea Institute at the Australian National University to do a writer's residency. They have a residency program here where you can stay up to 3 months to do research or some kind of creative artistry that has to do with Korea. So it's been really, really great in many ways. It's very restful here. People are constantly apologizing to me about Canberra, which is the funniest thing because they're all like, "Oh, we're sorry, it's not, I don't know, New York." My publisher, Judith, at Harper One, when she learned that I was doing a writer's residency in Canberra, her comment was, "Canberra is a lovely place to write a novel." She's Australian. I'm sitting out here on the patio of the actual residence at the residency. This is on-campus housing. Yeah, it's been a very thoughtful time. I have never focused as well as I have working here than anywhere else. I got so much done. It's incredible. I translated what is essentially an entire book while I was here, like in 3 weeks, which I have done before, but not in this relaxed manner that I'm doing now. And I've thought a lot about my next novel. I don't know what my next novel is going to be. It's either going to be one or the other. And I think my agent wants one particular novel to be next. And I'm thinking, well, logically, this novel should be next, and I have more of it written. But writers change the order of publication of their books all the time. I think Alexander Chi, for example, he was trying to sell Edinburgh, and he had Queen of the Night written, or a large portion of it written already, and he wanted, to sell Edinburgh first, but people kept being more interested in Queen of the Night. And while he did end up publishing Edinburgh first, I believe it was a very arduous, complicated story behind the publication of Edinburgh, and which I think you can read in his book. His now American classic, How to Write an Autobiographical Novel. But yeah, that kind of thing is very, very common in publishing, where you think this is going to be your second book or your third book, and then it becomes your third book or your fourth book. And so I think that is what I'm going through now. One of the big things that I wanted to do while here in Australia was to figure out a way to transition more to writing. I don't want to give up translation. I am too greedy for that. I do, however, the toll that translation takes on my well-being has been considerable these past few years. And I've come to a point where I think like, wow, this really isn't worth it. It's not worth going through this kind of psychic damage to do this work. And I can't describe to you everything that happened to me in the past few years. Some of it has been really, 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 really just damaging psychologically. And I think it's time for me to reevaluate where I am. My favorite chapter in How to Write an Autobiographical Novel by Alexander Chi is always going to be about the one about the roses, because I don't know, the imagery is just so striking for that essay. But there is another essay in that very same book that I have been thinking about a lot, and that's the one where he discusses how you have certain defense mechanisms as you grow up, and those defense mechanisms help you, help you grow up and protect you. But at some point, those very same defense mechanisms, those very same things that helped protect you, not only do not protect you anymore, but actively damage you. And that's kind of how I feel about a lot of things that I have gone through these past few years. I think, for example, translation itself, it's given me so much, and I'm so grateful for translation and for everything translation has given me. But I think there are moments where I feel like, wow, this whole translation thing, the industry, sometimes even the act of translation itself, is now toxic. All medicine is toxic to some degree. Well, all medicine is toxic. It's just that you know, through clinical trials, etc., you try to find out what is the OD, the overdose level, and like at to what point is it efficacious, and from what point does it cross over from efficacious into toxic. And so that is kind of how I have felt with translation during this residency. I have to figure out, and I told myself before I came to Australia that I'm going to use these 5 weeks to figure out how much of this is efficacious and at one point does it become toxic. Is this right for me still? Does it give me the things that it used to give me? It does not give me the things that it used to give me. Um, is it kind of like, do I have, as Alexander Chi's therapist in that Alexander Chi essay said, is it now time to give translation a new job? And I have been thinking a lot about that. And I think I really need to take away the full-time translator in my life and sort of put him in semi-retirement. Yeah. And I should really just start translating only exactly what I really, really want to and like to do. I mean, for the large part, I have been translating only the books that I really, really want to do. I can only name like one book that I actively dislike having translated. And everything else I've just like really loved working on. And that's what makes it so difficult because I just feel so grateful to this opportunity and to all of these things that have given me so much. Oh my God, is that woman hanging from a branch? She's not committing suicide. Okay, she's hanging from a branch. Oh God, that almost gave me a heart attack. Okay, she's fine. She's just hanging from a branch. God, how randomly Australian. Like people just reach up to the branches and just sort of hang from them. Anyway, how whimsical and droll. I need to give translation a different role in my life. And anyway, so yeah, that's part of why it's been so difficult to process all of this because I am so grateful. It is so wonderful to be a translator. You know how Sandra Oh says, you know, it's an honor to be Asian, and that's how I feel about being Asian and also being a translator. Um, but I have to let go in gratitude a bit and try to focus on other things a bit more. Not necessarily just writing, but also my health. I mean, I'm perfectly healthy, but I could be healthier. Being in Australia, especially Canberra, where they have very good work-life balance. And I just like my very good friend, Professor Hyun Lee, who works here. She, um, the last time I was here, she just was like just talking about her work-life balance here, and she just like is one of the sunniest, coolest people that I've ever met. And I'm kind of like, wow, what's the secret behind her wonderful awesomeness? And I feel like the work-life balance that she's like found here because she's mentioned it to me. I think it's part of it. So I always had that at the back of my mind when I came here last year. And so when I had the opportunity to apply for um, a residency, in fact, Hyun invited me to apply. I applied and I got it. And um, so I was determined to sort of like, what would work-life balance look like for Anton Her, who was notorious for producing like 9 translated books a year? I have felt just much lighter here, and I've been able to focus better. I have not bothered even cutting my hair. Most days I don't shave or even put in some contact lenses. Um, I learned through YouTube how to fix my own glasses because even if I do take it to a professional, like, you know, optometrists, they kind of can't fix it because I don't know, maybe my ears are shaped weird. But then I just looked at a YouTube video and then I was like, "Hmm." And then I put it on and I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? YouTube was always available. And why didn't I just learn how to do it myself? Because, no shade on those optometrists, but they're not me. They don't know what the glasses feel like. Only I know how they feel like. So only I know how to fix it. I have about 10 days left, a week and a half. No, a week left on my residency now. I just have to deliver one more lecture and then I'll be done. So I will see you back in Seoul.